Hey everybody, welcome to yet another lesson in sculpting the human face. This is lesson number 13, sculpting the ears. Alright, so first off I want to mention that the bullet points that you're used to seeing that talk about the basic anatomy and proportions of things, where one thing should be relative to another, so on and so forth, is really kind of irrelevant because you have concept art. So again, the author's coming from more the perspective of he's going to sculpt with clay. So you don't really need to worry about memorizing any of this kind of stuff. Now we do want to know some of the basic anatomy because there are things that should be there when we sculpt. So let's go ahead and cover. So the deepest part of your ear is called the concha. That's the part that actually has your ear canal in it. It's the deepest part of the ear, and the second part, deepest part of the ear, is the triangular fossa, the little dent that you see right here. And when you sculpt, you can just sculpt this all as one big deep point. So I have Mudbox already ready to go here. So I'm going to temporarily go ahead and go to my perspective view and turn my sculpt on for my ear. Okay, so all the, this is what I was just mentioning. So all this stuff in here forms the deepest part of the ear. All right. So again, hopefully the computer's not lagging. I went ahead, it is totally lagging. So I went ahead and did some upgrades, or not upgrades, updates on my computer, and it looks like it's still lagging. I think it's because I subdivided up to level 6 at one point. So in any case, yeah, so that'll be an issue once again, but okay, but we'll deal with it. Anyways, going back to the same. So this is the concha, deepest part of the ear, triangular fossa. This is just a little bit deeper than this, but we sculpt this usually just all as one big dark, deep piece when we go to do the sculpt. All right, let's see down here. This little flap of skin that covers the ear canal is called your tragus, and usually on the opposite side we have another curve that is the antitragus. So let's look at that. So, okay, unfreeze. So this little dent right here, that's your tragus. That's your antitragus. See how they point towards one another. And then up here, on the top of your ear, come on, the big flap of skin that folds over the top of your ear, that's called the helix. And it's kind of hard to see, but it almost kind of looks like a lobster claw inside here. That's the antihelix. So same idea. This kind of curves in towards the antitragus. This kind of curves out, and that curves out away from the helix and the antihelix. So let's look at that over here. So this whole big flap of skin, that's your helix. And then this piece of skin here on the inside is your antihelix. All right, next we have, I'm going to go ahead and flip over to, every time I go to unfreeze it, the computer locks up. Go back over to here. Okay, next we have this little dent right here. That's called your scapha. And I believe that's it. That's all the anatomy of the ear. All right. Now, the book at this point is not very helpful. So I am not even going to bother doing an overview of all the stuff that the author does here because it's not that hard of a sculpt. It's actually very, very easy. So I'm not going to bother with the book at all, and I encourage you guys to just kind of, maybe you want to read through it, go for it, but it's really an easy thing to sculpt. Part of the reason that the ear is easier to sculpt than the other parts of the body is because people don't really scrutinize the ears on characters like they do the eyes or the mouth or something like that. So you don't need to really worry about getting it perfect. And there's a great deal of variation amongst people's ears in terms of proportions. Usually you do see the same parts, like you usually see the antihelix, you'll typically always see a helix, you'll typically always see a tragus. Some people's tragus goes really deep in, some people's tragus is really shallow. Same thing with the antitragus. Some people's it's very curved, some people it's very flat. I've even met one person who actually did not have a triangular fossa in his ear. It was a guy that redecorated my kitchen, fun fact. Yeah, he was standing there and I was like, whoa, dude, you're missing your triangular fossa. But anyways, so yeah, I am not going to use the book. I am just going to go ahead and use the concept art. So let's go ahead and go to our side view and start sculpting. And like I said, this is a very, very easy sculpt compared to everything else we've done so far. All right, so like I mentioned, I'm going to start off by freezing. Oh, and then make sure that you're in a new layer for your ear. Let's go ahead and make another one. All right, that's fine. Okay, So going back to this, so we're going to go ahead and first mark in with the freeze tool all the deep parts of the ear, like so. And we're going to go all the way up to the triangular fossa when we do that. Now notice in the concept art, he didn't really give the bottom of the antihelix much skin. Typically, though, the bottom of your antihelix is more thicker, like you see in the concept art up here. Ah, not so far, you sucker. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. So it's usually much meatier, much thicker than he drew it in there. Look how thin he drew it. So make sure you give yourself enough real estate in there when you're sculpting. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, and I might even kind of go over here a little bit more and then less in here so that it's thicker. Like that. Okay. All right, next I'm going to invert and my computer's going to freeze again. Yep. Okay. So what's happening, every time you see the mouse zip off to the side, I'm hitting pause on the record so that you guys don't have to stare at my computer while it decides what it wants to do. Okay, and then we're going to use the bulge tool. I'm going to go ahead and mark this in a little bit more. Mark that out a little bit. Make that rounder. Okay. No. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then that looks good. Let's go to the bulge tool, and then we're going to invert it. Make sure steady stroke is turned off. I'm just going to go in here and push in, not like that. Lower the strength. Let's raise the size of the brush. There we go. I'm just going to push that all in. Remember, you want to push the concha in just a little bit more than you push in the triangular fossa. Okay, let's unfreeze it. Okay, so there's the result. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my perspective view. And we got a lot of smoothing to do. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this out. But don't smooth it so much that you lose. Like, you know, you can smooth away the bottom of the anti-helix real easy. Okay. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and flatten this. Think of this as like a little ramp that goes from the inside of the ear to the side of your head. So I'm going to use the flatten tool. I'm just going to flatten out this little piece right here. Probably even just smooth it. Turned out pretty good. And I'm going to smooth right here. But again, don't smooth it to the point that it's gone. Still just smoothing right now. All right, I'm liking it. It's turned out pretty good. All right, let's round out that a little bit more too. Smooth it out, I should say. Okay, so that is the deep part of the ear. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the helix and the anti-helix using the bulge tool. And you're going to want to turn on steady stroke for this. So we're just going to drag around the ear to form the thickest part of the ear. And I got off a little bit there at the end. Probably could go a little bit bigger. There we go. And just try to do that as one solid brush stroke. You don't want to scribble. Kind of like when we did the eyelids. We just want that to come all the way around to form the bulk of the ear. So there you go. Right off the bat, we're already starting to look like an ear. Okay, now that actually got a little bit too thick. So I'm going to pinch mine to bring that closer together. There we go. Okay, not bad. Okay, next we're going to form the bottom of the ear. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and do the scapha. Oh, I forgot to do the scapha when I did this. Oops. Okay, bad, Professor. Yeah, when I marked all this stuff in with the freeze tool, I should have marked that in too. So now I'm going to have to go ahead and do it manually. It's probably not going to look great. I shouldn't have said nothing. You guys would have noticed, right? All right, so now you guys would have noticed. You're very smart. Okay, so let's go ahead and do invert, and then bulge into form. Hopefully a decent looking scaffa, not with steady stroke. Okay. Oh, that looks terrible. Let's make it bigger. Maybe the strength needs to be a little bit smaller. Oh, we're cheating, but it's not looking too bad. All right. Oops. No, didn't mean to do that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. Yeah. When you guys do the painting here and do the inverted bulge, you should get that in there as well. I'm going to have to pinch out here a little bit to tighten it up. And then I was going to flatten the sides a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's a pretty... It'll do. It'll do. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and freeze the inside of the ear. And then use the grab tool. So I'm switching over to the grab tool right now. And I'm just going to try to pull this down a little bit to form a little bit of a wrinkle like we're used to seeing when we look at somebody's ear. Okay. Unfreeze. Whenever I unfreeze, my computer likes to lock up. Okay. All right. So next, we're going to form the bottom of the lobe. And we're going to do that using the bulge tool inverted. Now, when you do the bottom of the ear, you don't need to get like a full flap of skin. Typically, it's in a video game, like I said, the ears are like a style, they're almost stylized. So you don't need to worry about making it so that there's like a completely separate flap down here at the bottom. All we're going to do is use the bulge tool, and then we're going to go around the bottom. Just kind of create the suggestion of where the lobe would be. Why is that not working? Because magnitude's too small. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. I'm actually going to start with going behind the ear. Let's do this part first. Okay. And then next you're going to just use the move tool if you have to, or grab tool, I should say. Round it out a little bit. And then smooth out where you do the side. And then if smooth tool isn't working, you're going to have to use the flatten tool to get rid of that bump. Because smooth is maxed out. Yep. Let's see if it'll smooth. No, it's not wanting to smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten. And then smooth. You have to really scribble the heck out of it. Okay, we can smooth back here a little bit. And then she's probably going to have ears that kind of stick out a little bit. Actually, it didn't turn out that bad. We're going to go ahead and bring the whole ear in. Just a little bit. That's pretty much it, you guys. That's how you do it. I could probably smooth that in here a little bit more. This guy right here. And then probably use a lot of the grab tool at this point and just match up with the concept art. So really that's all that's left to do on this is to go back to your picture and then just do your best to try to line things up so that it matches with the concept art. And again, you don't have to make it like exact. You just got to get it close. People don't pay that much attention to the ear. The ear doesn't get as much love as the rest of the sculpt. Anyways, you guys got the idea. So you would just go ahead and keep tweaking it until you get it to look like the ear on the model. Okay. Usually the ear kind of sticks out a little bit more, and you can see there's that ridge that goes around. You're just going to smooth that out to the best of your ability. Again, you might have to just use flatten instead. And then flatten, and then smooth. Really give the smooth tool a good workout. And that's it. That's how you sculpt the ear, you guys. All right. As usual, I could go in and do a tons of tweaking and modifying and trying to get things to line up, but I'll leave that up to you guys to try to make it look as good as you want it to look. See, like right there, that's a little too pointy. There we go. Anyways, all right. That's how you sculpt an ear, you guys. So congratulations, you guys. It's a pretty big deal to be able to sculpt a human face, a human likeness that looks semi-realistic. And again, even if your model doesn't look exactly like the concept art, that's okay, because this is just a likeness, right? We're not trying to make a 3D scan of somebody's head. So you just want to be able to make it so that it resembles the person that you're trying to sculpt. So congratulations again, you guys. You guys are doing a great job here in the class so far, given the circumstances. As usual, if you guys get stuck on anything, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email, and I will help you out to the best of my ability. All right, good luck, you guys.